So recently, Togashi came out and said he's readying himself for some potential reader backlash. What if that's because he's not going to have any of the main characters we've grown to love thus far? Gon, Killua, Kurapika, Leorio, none of these people are going to be in this upcoming arc. It's just going to be Jing and Pariston as the main characters for this entire Dark Continent arc. And that's what he's referring to. He's like, people might not like this, but this is what I want to do. Togashi fucking changing up main characters like a boss. Very dialogue-heavy chapter. Like, if you think Magi has dialogue-heavy chapters, this shit blows that out the water as far as dialogue-heavy chapters. For the most part, a lot of this was giving us context to some things that went down in the Dark Continent. Just really how fucked up and scary it really is. Once again, putting that fear in your heart. Like, this is making me expect great things from the Dark Continent, because the way they were describing it, how out of 149 different times they've attempted to go to the Dark Continent, only 28 people from those voyages have survived. They've come back, and out of all of those people, 28, only 3 of them have been able to return to normal society. The Dark Continent is no fucking joke. Like, this chapter, if this didn't put that in your head that the Dark Continent is no joke, nothing will. I really don't know what to make of Beyond Netero. Like, another chapter, this chapter yet again, it's clear as day at this point from what we've gathered thus far. He is indeed Netero's son. It's been confirmed. He was even like, yo, take a hair, take some blood, whatever you need to confirm I am his son. And even Chito's kind of like, fuck, you know, I can't argue with that. He's willing to give me DNA, whatever it takes to prove that he is indeed Netero's son. And she's getting this weird feeling. Like, I'm curious, what is it about him that is just like giving this uneasy feeling? I mean, at the end of the day, he's an international criminal for, I guess, all his things that he's done regarding the Dark Continent. They, you know, branded him a criminal for that. But it just makes you wonder, like, what is it about him? There's something about Beyond. Possibly, maybe on some of those voyages that he went to the Dark Continent, maybe the reason why he was one of the sole survivors is because he don't give a fuck about his team at the end of the day. Maybe he will kill whoever is necessary so that he can get back alive, and he's not a team player. Maybe that's what Netero was scared of and why he felt like this isn't the person to bring everyone to the new world, to the Dark Continent, because he feels as though this guy, like, he's too reckless and he's not compassionate enough about his comrades. Because it does seem a little bit odd that out of all the people that was on the voyage with him, he was one of the only ones to come back alive. And what if he just did that because it was on survival of the fittest? Like, yo, if I gotta eat you to survive, you damn sure better be ready to get eaten. I'm curious a little bit about these guides, because up until now, basically, humanity was only able to go to the Dark Continent via these guides. And it almost seems, in a way, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like some survival Attack on Titan thing when the guy was up at the post and he was kind of like, damn, so humanity's never even been able to go to the Dark Continent successfully without these guides. And I'm curious to see what they are, who they are. They're these mystical beings, apparently, these mystical species that are the ones that help humanity get to the Dark Continent. So there's just so much mystery surrounding the Dark Continent right now. And the funny thing is, from my understanding, we're in the heart of the Dark Continent. The Dark Continent is everything around us, so it's not like we're going across, you know, Togashi made sure to do his thing a little bit different. It's not like we're going across the grand line that we have to go, you know, the other side or anything. He made sure, like, we're in the heart of this bitch. And another thing is, Beyond is just so cocky. Like, he's sitting there like, I can assure you that by the end of all this, you guys are going to take me to the Dark Continent and we're going to all go together. And the thing is, they're saying, yeah, you're going to go. At the end of it all, you know, he played some pretty good mind games, or at the fact that he could deduce everything step by step, that he knew they would take him to the Dark Continent, but he's going to go as a prisoner, and they're basically like, okay, you know, we'll take you to the Dark Continent. You're going to be chained up. If you manage to get free, cool, you can do whatever you want, but you're going to be chained up, so I'm pretty sure, like, it won't take long. Once they get to Dark Continent, Beyond Netero's going to bust out of whatever chains or whatever, and we might see the true form of him. I think there's something about the Dark Continent that he is desperately in search of within there. I don't think it's just mainly, part of it I'm sure is the enjoyment of going over there, just like Jing and Pariston, that they just want to have fun because, you know, Dark Continent is something beyond anything, beyond anything that they have over here on this side. But definitely there's something, I feel, maybe a goal that he has in there. Maybe there's something he left behind. Maybe there's something he's searching for in particular, why he's so desperate to get to the Dark Continent. And to be honest with you, I felt as though this chapter was foreshadowing a potential time skip. Maybe either shortly after a couple of these chapters we'll get a time skip, or during this arc afterwards, maybe, or as it's progressing, we will have time progressing on the outside, and then when we return back to the characters Gon and them, they'll be a bit older, because it was saying within 10 years possibly we'll be able to send like 1 million people over to the Dark Continent via these ships or whatever. So maybe Jing and Pariston will be the, head of these arcs. And for a while, they will just be the main characters, and we'll go through this journey with them and see all the tragedy and all the craziness that awaits the Dark Continent. And while that's going on, time will progressively pass, and maybe when we flash back to what's going on, Gon will be older, Kurapika will be older, everyone will be a bit older, and then they'll search out to the Dark Continent. I'm curious what happened, because from what we gathered thus far, Jing and Gon have separated at this point. Jing went on his own, he met up with Pariston. We don't see Gon unless Gon is waiting for him around there, but it makes me wonder, is it a bit too early to send Gon to the Dark Continent? Because from what we've gathered thus far, as far as Gon's power, when he had that hulking form and everything where he pretty much sacrificed everything to get it, yeah, he had power, definitely. Send that motherfucker to the Dark Continent. However, he doesn't have that power anymore. And from what we've gathered thus far, like, Gon probably, I don't know if he could even take out Razor at this point, the guy from the dodgeball stuff. So it's making me wonder, how strong is he? Would he even be able to survive in there? Like, I don't think he can hang with Jing and Pariston and all these people that are probably just ridiculously strong beyond Netero to go on this cruise to the Dark Continent. And I say cruise very lightly because it ain't gonna be no picnic. So it's a strong possibility that there's no reason to bring him, because if anything, he would just be a hindrance to his father. Although ideally, it would have been like, holy shit, father and son going to the Dark Continent. Maybe this will be the time where he'll take the time to develop them off screen. They will get a lot stronger off, camera and whatnot. And then when we get back, that's when it'll be either 5 or 10 years, and it'll be time where many people, multiple people can venture off to the Dark Continent, and Gon will go once again off in search of his father to find out, where's my father? What happened to him? What's this Dark Continent? And it'll be all over again, Gon searching for his father. This time, though, he's wondering, is my father dead or not? And I'm just like, going way ahead of myself, but maybe, who knows, Jing will get all fucked up in the mind and everything, and Gon will eventually find him, and it'll be, I'm going too far ahead of myself, but yeah, I think there's a strong possibility what Togashi meant, where he's expecting a potential reader backlashes. We're not going to have Gon, Kido, or any of them. It's going to be this Jing and Pariston stuff. But it also makes me wonder, because Jing didn't, show up till the last minute, and Pariston's like, oh, you finally came, because it seems as though Pariston was really on this one-man mission, whatever it may be, as far as, like, to go to the Dark Continent. I'm imagining, again, part of it is to have fun, but I'm sure there's more to it than that. And when Jing shows up, it's making me wonder, why are they trying to make this even more chaotic? We know already the Dark Continent is fucking bananas, crazy, it's just been, I'm scared of the Dark Continent, So why would you want to throw in 5,000 Chimera? Like, I'm sure they're not going to be anything ridiculous. Like, we're not going to have Meruem there, I believe. I hope not, unless, like, they start doing it all over again. We get, Chimera Ant Part 2 or something where Queen just starts, but no. But with 5,000 of them, basically probably around the strength of, like, I want to say Colts, I want to say Wilfin, Icalgo, things like that. Why would you need to add more of that chaos when you already have all of these calamities, everything? Like, are they just not scared of the Dark Continent? Are they planning on using these Chimera for different things? Maybe they feel as though they can help out during their venture into the Dark Continent, because I'm sure Jing ain't no idiot, Pariston ain't no idiot. I'm sure they realize the dangers ahead of them. So I'm pretty sure there's a big reason why they want to let loose these 5,000 Chimera Ants once they get to the Dark Continent. Maybe they're going to use them for their biology. Maybe they're going to use them as scapegoats. Who the fuck knows? But there's definitely a reason. I highly doubt that it's only simply, oh, let's have some fun. Because the Dark Continent in and of itself is a fucking playground of danger. Just overall fucking sick ending. Now we have a setup. Jing is definitely going to the Dark Continent with Pariston. We have Beyond Netero is going to be transported there as a prisoner. It's like, oh my god, things is fucking heating up so lovely in Hunter x Hunter manga right now. It's like, we only 2 chapters back, bro. 2 chapters. And I feel like this is before we go to New World, but just I'm even way more scared right now, or anything of that nature. Like, we're going to the next part of the story, and I'm like, I'm really curious. Big questions right now. What do you guys think? Is this going to be just Jing and Pariston? Do you believe that we're going to get maybe a time skip later on down the road with going to them? But for now, we're going to focus on these characters and Beyond Netero and his crew. We're going to get, those people and, maybe the V6 here and there, because it definitely seems as though Togashi wants to keep on going back and forth between the V5 or V6 now, I guess you want to call them, and things like that. He wants to go more political. A lot of this chapter was focusing on the V5, V6, talking about the dangers and, the possibilities, the outcome. It was mainly like a board meeting, and it was kind of funny. I almost feel as though Togashi was kind of like playing off like some readers might get turned off, and it's like, oh, we already know all this, okay, or whatever, because this is definitely dialogue heavy. Personally, I like it when it's dialogue heavy to the point where it's like really trying to drive a point across. And the point was met. First of all, Beyond Netero is making me wonder, can we really trust him? They do need him to go to the Dark Continent. They need all the help they can get because they really want to get over there. Another big point is that Jing and Pariston is going to go over there, and it might be a time skip at some given point. Maybe in the near future, maybe in the distant future. But the way they were saying where, 5 years this, 10 years that, I think we'll get a big time skip at some given point, and that'll be the next time possibly we see our main hero. And what do you think is the whole reason Jing and Pariston are going to let 5,000 chimeras loose over there? Do they need that much fun? Like, how much fun do you need when you're going to basically hell? And what do you think about Beyond Netero? I don't know what to make of him. Like, he reminds me a lot of his father. It's been said many different times he is just like Netero, but at the same time, it's like, can you trust this guy? Would he kill his comrades, his Nakama, to ultimately succeed in the Dark Continent? Just the overall thoughts of the chapter. I'm sure a lot of people probably were like, trudging through, reading all that dialogue, but Hunter x Hunter, I've come to learn when I caught up with the manga that it is one of those series where, yeah, it might seem a little grueling, but you feel so accomplished and you feel like you get so much out of it. I mean, at the end of the day, comparing it to a lot of other manga that I read, it's bringing a lot of story to you. I'm gonna give this one 8 out of 10. Very good chapter, very good setup. Ending just had me going bonkers for Jing, getting ready to go to the Dark Continent. A lot of mystery, foreshadowing for just how fucked up the Dark Continent is once again. And yeah, this was just some very good stuff. Even though the dialogue heavy parts, yeah, again, it could be a little taxing, but once you get through it, it's like, Hunter x Hunter, baby. That's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, or you fear the Dark Continent, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.